Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Virtue Cast. We've got Game 3 of the Dignitas SjoW vs. KiWiKaKi series from the recent MLG Columbus tournament. Looks like our Terran player Dignitas SjoW spawning in the top right 1 o'clock position and spawning down here in the bottom left. Our Protoss warrior that forced a Game 3 in this series, KiWiKaKi, spawning in the bottom left. And Game 2, if you haven't seen it, go ahead, take a look. Pause this, go ahead, take a look. And Game 2 was a very good game. There was an attack at the third that pretty much changed the tide of the game. KiWiKaKi held it off with mainly Blink Stalkers and a few Colossi. A little bit of Viking miscontrol, I believe, out of Dignitas SjoW. That was basically deterred the Vikings while the Colossi were allowed to shell away at the Bio Army. Great Force Fields also cut it off. But we're heading into Game 3 here. The map is going to be Shakura's Plateau, obviously the MLG variant. So, I know I say it every game, but they do have the supply depots. Looks like a barracks going down right now for SjoW. There was a recent upgrade or revamp in this map where they took out these destructible rocks here and replaced them with these here. That way you could kind of prevent the back hallway, the hidden hallway. Terran used to be able to push back this hallway and pretty much keep you from attacking them. So Blizzard did something about it. Good for them. KiWiKaKi sending out a probe. Dignitas SjoW, probably not, because he's not a big fan of scouting. So we'll see if KiWiKaKi can get anything here. He's heading across the map, actually going to the wrong position, so then he knows absolutely if this is not right, he will have to be here. As I've stated before, and again, probably one too many times, MLG map variants do not allow you to spawn close ground, and right here would be close ground, so he will not be there. So looks like Marine is going to be out by then, so KiWiKaKi will not be able to see anything that's going on, and he will have to turn around and hightail out of there. So KiWiKaKi, everything pretty standard so far. He's kind of doing a little bit of a Sim City here almost. I guess what you do there is you lay the buildings as close as possible. That way it's little mining time. Your lost mining time is minimized. So KiWiKaKi has great zealot timing. This is going to finish right as the Cybercore finishes. Boom, there it is. And a little bit late, but no problem. Getting a second gas about the same time he laid down the Cybercore. A little bit early. That means he's probably going to go pretty gas heavy here and look to do possibly like a Sentry expand. Let's see if KiWiKaKi got vision of the expansion. He did not, but he did see this bunker. He saw the 3 Marines. So you can almost assume that it's going to be a fast expand. And by doing that, he pretty much can assume that. So he's going to send the Zealot over to attack these Xel'Nagas, make sure no Marines are caught there. And it doesn't look like there are going to be any, so he's going to send those over, no big deal. Looks like Stalker also pushing out early, seeing if he can get over and cause some damage, but he's not going to be able to with this bunker here. Possibly going just to occupy the Xel'Naga. Exactly what he's doing. So there's probably a probe heading out to expand here for KiWiKaKi as he just now eclipsed 400 minerals. And there's the expansion for KiWiKaKi. So it looks like we're going to set ourselves up for another 2-base macro game. No early attacks going on here. Already getting the orbital on that second, so he's not going to go Planetary Fortress. Terran players usually never do. If he does elect to take this third, he probably will go Planetary Fortress, possibly here, but most likely orbitals all the way, unless he takes this, which he possibly could take a Planetary, typically not against Protoss players, though. So it looks like this Stalker did poke the front, did see that this is completed. Did take some damage, no terminal damage, though, as that shield is regenerating, as you can see. And looks like another gateway on the way, and Nexus halfway completed, going with a Sentry. That way he can get some force fields up if anything were to happen, which I don't see any early pressure coming. Is he going to go into a 2-gate Robo build? So possibly just to get out some early scouting information, maybe a quick Colossi, we'll find out. Good scoot and shoot micro. As you can see, the animation doesn't even trigger on the Sentry sometimes if you do it fast enough. So these Sentries were able to take that out, but what SjoW does realize is he does not have vision. He didn't see it, but he did see that 2 Sentries most likely means he wants to force field, as it takes 2 Sentries, which most likely means he needs to protect this area, which means that he did expand. So SjoW got all the information he needed to. He knows there's an expansion. And you can see he's thrown down a tech lab right here with a starport. As you can see, siege mode on the way, so it looks like he's going to go for some siege tanks, which I've noticed more Terran players go siege tank against Protoss on this map than any other, as you can put them here on this high ground, or you can put them down here and pretty much deny the Protoss any entrance near your base. And is he going to lose the Stalker? Yes, he does. That's a big loss. Really no need to lose that unit. But a little miscontrolled by KiWiKaKi, though. It's not at a point where it's going to cost him dearly. But does lose that there, so that's a little too bad for our Protoss player, KiWiKaKi. KiWiKaKi, a Canadian, Dignitas SjoW, a Swede. So we have a little bit of nationality rivalry here. They were playing in Columbus, so all of this taking place on American soil. Like I said, with that robotics bay, with that robotics facility, he does go with the quick robo bay. So it looks like going to be quick Colossi for the third consecutive game for KiWiKaKi. He does get that expansion down, so it's not necessarily super fast, but you know, just decides to get that out relatively early. These sentries going all the way across the map by themselves. A little bit dangerous, but they will get back and have no problems, as there is no imminent push coming from our Terran player. And he's possibly going for like a sort of marine tank timing here. Possibly, I don't know if he's going to attack here, or he's just going to try to push out and take this third. Looks like this observer is going to go ahead and park right here on the high ground. So, like I say, KiWiKaKi getting perfect vision of all this. He's going to push out with sentries. I don't know how I feel about this. Probably, I hope he backs off, because these sentries are much too expensive to throw away, as he does lose his zealot there. So he knows it's coming, and he's, oh goodness, throws up a Guardian Shield. I don't know about this. Oh my goodness, KiWiKaKi. And he does force field that off, just to delay the push. Oh goodness me. Oh, losing a sentry there. Not worth it. But KiWiKaKi looks like he could be in some trouble. The Colossi just in time. Extended thermal lance not yet completed. If these two tanks can siege up here and gain vision, a bunker going down. Goodness. And a Banshee coming in. Oh my goodness, all kinds of problems right now for KiWiKaKi. Does not have cloak, but 3 bunkers going down at the moment, and Stalker's perfectly positioned to deflect this. They're doing the right thing. Possibly what he could do is move this Colossi up here to the high ground and maybe get vision of this bunker, but still no huge damage. The siege tank shelling away. Now that she's getting shelled away at this Colossi, it does not take any terminal damage. This assimilator is going to be under attack. Observer parked over here, so he does know what's going on. He can see the contain. He does get a good grasp of what it is. He does have 2 Colossi. This one already at terminal damage. And it looks like he did load up these bunkers. What a great contain by SjoW. Great recognition to have this timing where he can push out and contain. What he needs to be doing in this situation is taking a third, or he may be trying to push him in the game. Take a look at the units tab. He is down 14 harvesters. These 2 Banshees are given free reign. And my goodness, this is not looking good for our Protoss warrior KiWiKaKi. Our Terran player SjoW doing a great job containing, and I don't... Goodness, man. I don't know how KiWiKaKi expects to break out of this. The one good thing is if he does have a forward pylon anywhere, he could possibly warp in some units and try to flank, because these expansions are going to be completely undefended, as all units are being rallied to this southwest location. And these Banshees are picked away at this supply depot. It looks like these Colossi are going to try to push out here. And I hope he doesn't lose this one up. I don't know if that's worth it. Goodness. Man, this is not looking good for KiWiKaKi. He's staying even in the supply differential, but all these units, I just don't know how you're going to effectively handle this. As these tanks are able to push forward, the right thing for SjoW to do, if he can push a tank up about halfway up this ramp, then it'll really create some problems. But as you can see in the production tab, just more Banshees, more tanks, more Marines coming. It looks like a Phoenix coming out now. That's exactly what he needed. What a great play by KiWiKaKi to throw down that Stargate, get some Phoenix out. That's going to push him back. And that's going to keep them from doing anything. So, I missed that in the production tab, but we had so much going on. But yeah, absolutely. These Phoenix did a great job holding this off. A couple of Mortals, that's great. That's going to come out and just punish these tanks and bunkers. He actually quit Colossi production and elected to have the bunkers, which was good. Looks like these units are going to close. Oh, only one of them. KiWiKaKi actually doing a pretty good job here. He is staying even in supply. He's ahead in harvesters. He's handling this very well. He's getting out some Phoenix. and the Colossus are done. Immortals being chrono boosted out of both robotics facilities. Good saturation. One thing he has not done that he did every other game was throw down the double forge. But it doesn't look like either player has upgrades yet. Stem just now being finished. Infantry level 1 coming out for SjoW right now. Cloak on the way, that's going to be hard to deal with. Especially with the double immortal production. We're going to have to get some observers out. Do we have an observer on the map? We have one. And it is parked over this army. Or just to the east of this army. But man, what a great contain. As you can see, 2 zealots coming in here. Checking for a third, noticing there is no third. So he is noticing this isn't necessary. He's not as far behind as he thinks he is. These 2 missile turrets going up to deter any observers. But the Colossi see an opportunity and they poke in. But this missile turret will be safe. So this is going to deny the observers. That way when the cloak finishes, he will be able to immediately cloak them. And it looks like it was canceled. So he's not going with cloak with these Banshees, which I think is fine. I don't know if they would have done a ton of damage. He does have observers out. He does have double robo. 1 forge coming out, as KiWiKaKi does notice he's neglecting his upgrades. But with this one last gas, that does make it much harder to do. A bunch of zealots coming in. Hopefully he can stream these into the 3rd or the 2nd, because there is nothing there to protect it. 1 Marine going to the Zelnaga, which is just in time, because these zealots would be able to stream right by. And it looks like 3 Marauders checking for hidden expansions, possibly. 1 Zealot coming in here checking for expansions. And it looks like both players are just becoming maxed. And I have a feeling KiWiKaKi is just going to bust out of here with these Colossi and these Phoenix. The Phoenix are going to be able to take down the big stem here. Going to try to catch all these Zealots out of position. And it looks like he will. But they were able to run to the corner. Look at these little sneaky Zealots back here. There's a big push here. Absolutely pushing out. And that was great deterring, as these Immortals were absolutely able to just shell away. But it looks like these Marines coming forward keep the Immortals from doing the damage they need to. KiWiKaKi, GG's. Wow, what a surprising end of this 3rd game. I thought KiWiKaKi was going to be able to push out here with relative ease, but the Marines got back just in time. I don't think he did a great job at running these Immortals down the ramp, then attacking. I think possibly he moved, and didn't quite catch him. Let's go ahead and back this up a little bit so we can catch that entire engagement. Let's go to the 16-minute mark here and see if we can catch that entire engagement. And, yeah, let's see. I think what he did there was he didn't push the Immortals down quick enough. And what that caused was where they bottled up here at this ramp. And here they come, and see what they do is they just bottle up. And they stop. And it keeps the Zealots from running through. All these Immortals at the back do absolutely nothing on the back like that. So if he runs these down the ramp, these Marines aren't able to get here in time. And these Marines get a better snout of Marines against Immortals. Absolutely worthless. So if he would have possibly ran these Immortals down the ramp, it may have done a little better, but nonetheless, great contained by SjoW. And the #1 ranked player going into this 2011 season was KiWiKaKi in the MLG due to his success. And he falls in this series. SjoW is a force to be reckoned with. He is no slouch. But that was a great Game 3, great series. Look forward to doing some more cash in this MLG tournament. This is Virtue signing out.